Salutations, respected viewers. This is George from Ireland, and in this video I'm going to ask whether President Trump has senile dementia. Now, I'm not a physician, therefore I'm not qualified to diagnose anyone as being senile, but like any other layman, I can identify some of the symptoms of senility. So just simply observe President Trump's behavior and also contrast it with how he behaved 20 or 30 years ago. I've seen television interviews of him from the 80s and the 90s. He almost had gravitas. He comported himself in a totally different manner. He was restrained, he was soft-spoken, he was courteous. He came across as genial much of the time. Whereas now he's constantly blowing his own trumpet, and there's a complete lack of emotional self-control. He's easily confused, very forgetful. He seems unable to distinguish between fact and fiction. There's all this willful self-deception going on, was a better expression for it. Wishful thinking. And he's become a pathological liar, telling lies when he's aware that we all know they're lies, such as that it wasn't raining his inauguration. So these would be some of the classic signs of a early onset senile dementia, which his father suffered from as well. I know that can overlap with Alzheimer's. So that's it. We're seeing the real Trump. Now, going back to being a toddler, the second childhood, as though we left the first one. So when one's looking at a toddler, this child, he or she, displays their real personality. They haven't been socialized into suppressing their less attractive traits. They haven't learnt to share, to obey certain societal rules. And Trump's gone back to that with no self-restraint, just flying off the handle, grossly insulting people and so on, can't stick to the script. So this lack of emotional self-discipline is indicative of him becoming senile. The way he gets so easily mixed up, the way he's so easily bored, you'll see him sometimes just wander off in the wrong direction and has to be redirected. The way he can't cope with even going down a few stairs. Notoriously, Theresa May took his hand in January, and she got caned for it by the British press because Trump is so reviled around the world. But he asked her to hold his hand, apparently, because he was frightened about going down a few steps. So he's obviously lacking depth perception and realizes he could very easily fall. This insomnia. So that's why he's reverting to type. And once he's the real Trump coming back, these constant changes of plan, firing staff, his vocabulary is very limited, where it wasn't always like that. So he's perhaps losing his mind. His cognitive faculties are clearly impaired. He can't articulate very well, repeating himself, struggling to construct grammatical sentences. And that's why he so easily forgets things, and he's emotionally incontinent. So on the face of it, he does suffer from some degree of senile dementia, and it's not going to get better. He's over 70. He's going to be in office for another 3 years, and he glides from one topic into something completely unrelated, from the tax bill to the North Korea situation, and so forth. In the midst of public orations, he will change tack like that. So there is quite a lot of prima facie evidence that he's like that. So what's to happen? He's Commander-in-Chief of the US military, and obviously his medical care is provided by the military. People obviously removed from the military if they're unfit to serve, mentally or physically. Does this not apply to the presidency as well? The president could be declared to be no longer in capacity of his mental faculties, and therefore might have to be removed from office. It's unprecedented. I'm told that US law does provide for that scenario. We shall see what happens as he deteriorates, and indeed his rate of decline might become ever more rapid.